Hello there, Stevos, and welcome back to another episode of Steve's Movie Wrap Up right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. Let's get straight in and see what movies I've watched and reviewed this week. 72 Hours. So the first movie we're starting off with is 72 Hours. This one has been on Netflix over the last couple of weeks now, and it does star Mason Gooding and also stars Kevin Hart as well. Now, this is like a Netflix comedy film, and I can see what they were trying to do with this one. They were trying to make it in the style of like The Hangover that came out years ago now. And for me, I just didn't think that this worked, you know? Like, I just don't think this worked. And also as well, you know, like, there wasn't even any moments in this film that I tend to have found like really funny or anything, to be honest. Like, there was some fun moments in it, I do think, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the comedy, at least for me, I mean, you know, obviously comedy can vary between person and person, whether you get this kind of humour or not. But for me, on the other hand, I just didn't find this movie at all funny. Do I think that I would go back and rewatch 72 Hours again on Netflix? I don't think so. I mean, I didn't find it funny the first time around, so I don't even think upon second rewatch I would find it funny, to be honest. But if you are looking for a movie that you may find funny in terms of a comedy film, especially if you like movies that star Kevin Hart in, at least anyway, then I would say definitely do check this one out. It is available to stream right now over on Netflix. Little Brother. The next film I have watched this week is Little Brother, which again has recently been released over on Netflix over the last month or so now. It's been out on the streaming platform, and I'm going to be honest, John Cena and Eric Andre do star in this, and I do think that as a dynamic duo, I think they work very well together, you know, and I think this movie is somewhat well acted. I mean, similar to 72 Hours though, like that one I could tell was a straight to streaming movie. This one, Little Brother, was also the same, a straight to streaming kind of film. It was just the vibe that I was getting from it. But however though, the difference between Little Brother and 72 Hours is with Little Brother, the movie was more heartfelt, and you know, there was a couple of times where there was some comedic elements to it as well, which for me I did find a little bit funny. Like, I did chuckle a couple of times at certain few pieces of dialogue here and there. But you know, I do think though that, you know, John Cena should I mean, he's been doing loads, and I mean loads, of movies over the last, I'm gonna say 5 years or so now, where a lot of these movies have just gone straight to streaming, you know. And when I think of like his straight to streaming releases, I'm thinking of films like Ricky Stenicki over on Prime Video, and Vacation Friends and Vacation Friends 2 over on Disney Plus as well. And I think he also did another movie as well over on Amazon Prime Video, which was Jackpot as well. So he's done a lot of films over in recent years where it's been straight to streaming, and I do think that, I do hope and pray that at some point, you know, we do get to see him in a lot more like Hollywood theatrical films, to be honest, you know, because I do think that at times John Cena can work well in certain roles, but I think it does sort of, it's kind of a mix, because the problem is, you know, you've got some where he's in a few, maybe a small handful of Hollywood theatrical films, and then you've got like a large handful, a large portion of movies where he's in like straight to streaming stuff, where the movie quality, or the quality of the film is just not great. And again, it's kind of, you're getting those vibes that yes, this is a straight streaming movie, and unfortunately this is where Little Brother does fall into that category of, this is a straight to streaming release. This weren't released theatrically or anything like that, so it is unfortunate. But nevertheless, so do I recommend watching Little Brother? I do. Is this a movie that I could see me going back and rewatching again sometime in the future? I definitely do think so, yes. But in the meantime though, if you do want to watch Little Brother for yourself, then do go and check it out. It's available to stream right now on Netflix worldwide. Soulmates. The final movie that I've watched and reviewed this week is Soulmates. Now, can I just say that with Soulmates, before I dive deeper into this film, this is a film by Universal and Blumhouse, and it's set in the Megan universe. However though, this movie was originally meant to be released theatrically in cinemas and theatres worldwide. Universal and Blumhouse pulled it from the release schedule. They then started shopping it around to different streaming services to see which streaming service would take on this film. No streaming service wanted this film, so it was this close, this close to being a film that would never see the light of day, despite the fact that it had already been made. But instead, Universal and Blumhouse decided to push this one out onto digital platforms. Therefore, yesterday, Saturday the 1st of August 2026, it came out over on digital platforms in the US, in the UK, and I think also in Australia as well, and probably in other parts of the world. But Lily Sullivan, who a lot of you will know from Evil Dead Rise, does star in this Megan spin-off film called Soulmate. Now, Soulmate is basically about a man who is lonely. His name is David, and he ends up forming a bond with a chatbot that begins on his smartphone. That chatbot then ends up appearing on his VR headset, and they're there playing chess with one another. And then after that, this AI chatbot is then in a humanoid robot. Now, this kind of sounds familiar because this humanoid robot then turns into what appears to be a sex robot. Again, this premise sounds rather familiar. I'm now thinking of the movie Companion, which came out last year, starring Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. I'm also thinking of the movie Subservience as well, which starred Megan Fox as well as a killer humanoid robot. But anyway, but Lily Sullivan stars as this humanoid robot in the form of Sarah, and she obviously wants to impress David. She doesn't want David to find someone else, So she goes out of her way to do the best that she can in order to keep David by her side. And I love the thriller elements of it. I love the horror elements of it, And I do appreciate this film for what it is worth as well. And I'm glad that I've been able to watch it on digital platforms as well. But it is such a shame that they're not going to continue the Megan universe. I think after Megan 2.0 was released a couple of years ago now, or was it even last year? It might have been last year even. But, Megan 2.0 wasn't as great as Megan, because they ended up turning Megan into a anti-hero of sorts, which I didn't even understand why, but it's such a shame that Megan did flop at the cinema, and obviously this ended up being shifted to a streaming release instead. But that being said though, I still appreciated this film for what it's worth. I thought the acting performances in this were rather decent as well. This film does come with a running time of 1 hour 39 minutes as well, so it's not too long of a film. Would I rewatch Soulmate again? I do see myself rewatching this again, and yes, even though it does have some of those killer robot doll tropes that you may have seen in previous films of this kind of genre before, I still would recommend giving this a watch, particularly because of Lily Sullivan's performance in this. You know, she was like she was like the star of Evil Dead Burn. And once again, she continues to shine in Soulmate as well. So Soulmate is available to buy and rent now on digital platforms. And that is it for this week's episode of the movie wrap up. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what films you've watched this week, whether it's old, new, in cinemas, streaming, Blu-ray, 4K Ultra, DVD, or even on VHS if you're old-fashioned like that. And as always, if you are new around here and you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Steve-O. And don't forget to tap the notification bell as well, so that you guys can always get reminded and notified on your smartphones and tablets as and when I upload a new video to my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. My next YouTube video will be out tomorrow, Monday the 3rd of August 2026 at 6 PM UK time. It's my 11th episode of Steve's Lens on Life. Until then though, it's goodbye, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you guys again in my next YouTube video.